Welcome to this exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and extraordinary minting errors, where a simple pocket change item such as the 1997 Washington quarter dollar can turn into a multi-million-dollar treasure and spark a remarkable level of interest among collectors, enthusiasts, and investors who constantly seek that one rare piece capable of transforming their lives. Because the numismatic market places tremendous value on truly unique errors and anomalies created during minting, especially when those irregularities produce details so distinctive and so unlikely to ever be repeated that experts begin to view the coin as something closer to a legendary artifact rather than a standard circulating denomination. And when a coin is common, as the 1997 quarter suddenly becomes associated with an alleged value of $38 million, it becomes necessary to examine what exactly could have gone so drastically different at the United States Mint that such a remarkable valuation would be considered not only possible but plausible given the right combination of rarity, demand, and verifiable mistakes, and therefore it helps to appreciate the complex minting process, because every coin is struck with precise machinery using planchets of defined metal composition, carefully designed dies, exacting pressure mechanisms, and controlled production standards. And although those procedures are highly regulated, the slightest imperfections can change everything when they produce features unseen on regular strikes, such as double die obverse errors, off-center prints, missing clad layers, die cracks, broad strikes, wrong planchet strikes, and transitional compositions that were not intended for that specific year. And the 1997 quarter has become an object of fascination because a very small handful of specimens rumored to exist display combinations of these anomalies in ways that would stun specialists, which fuels the growing belief that somewhere in protected private collections or undisclosed holdings lies a coin created through a chain reaction of multiple simultaneous minting failures. And since the Philadelphia Mint produced more than 1 billion Washington quarters dated 1997, the presence of such a rare variant buried among them adds to the mystique, increasing desirability among collectors who love the thrill of a massive discovery where ordinary money transforms into a once-in-a-lifetime artifact. And when speaking of an extraordinary price like $38 million, it must be understood that such a coin would require more than a single simple flaw, because individual minor errors might raise a coin's value to a few hundred or a few $1,000s depending on condition, rarity, and popularity. Yet a combination error specimen with layered mistakes could become so cosmically rare that no direct comparison exists, creating a valuation determined almost entirely by high-profile buyer willingness rather than conventional pricing guides. So people speculate that a hypothetical ultra-rare 1997 quarter might include a double die obverse where Washington's portrait shows duplicated details in the eye, mouth, and profile line, creating shadow-like distortions visible under magnification, while the motto, "I in God we trust," could show separation lines or additional thickness inconsistent with standard die strikes. And Liberty could appear stretched or doubled toward the rim, and simultaneously the reverse might exhibit dramatic misalignment where the eagle's wings shift significantly from their intended orientation, or parts of the design appear missing from an off-center strike that results from the planchet not being properly seated between the dies. And then an additional mistake might include a wrong planchet error in which a quarter is struck on a planchet meant for another denomination such as a nickel dime, or even a foreign coin planchet that accidentally entered production lines, creating incorrect weight measures and a different metallic appearance. And further complications might extend to missing clad layers, which reveal a copper-colored surface or patchy texture where only one layer of the sandwich metal composition remains intact, making the coin appear dramatically different than ordinary quarters. And on top of everything else, a massive die break or die cut could run across Washington's neck or the eagle's body, forming a raised D formation that completely alters how the coin looks. And if all of these anomalies converged within a single piece that remained in brilliant uncirculated condition preserved by chance before it reached circulation, such a coin would defy typical grading categorization and ignite a bidding war among elite collectors who crave singularities, increasing the price to unheard levels since rarity multiplied by desirability often results in exponential financial outcomes in the numismatic market. And some enthusiasts also theorize that a prototype transitional composition quarter could exist for 1997p, maybe using leftover planchets from experimental runs linked to anti-counterfeiting tests or abandoned alloy research. And if documentation proves such an origin within the Philadelphia Mint archives, the historical context would elevate the item from mere manufacturing accident to an important piece of United States monetary evolution, adding provenance that wealthy buyers love to pursue because significance, combined with scarcity, yields the highest valuation tiers. And the fascination continues because stories circulate about private owners who allegedly came across unusual 1997p quarters only to realize, after expert evaluation, that they held something far beyond a normal mintage anomaly. And while many such rumors remain unverified, the potential existence of a perfect storm error specimen drives more people to check their change carefully, hoping to participate in a treasure hunt where imagination meets financial reality, and the possibility that one quarter can surpass the world's most expensive coins in recorded sales demonstrates that money itself becomes art when its creation deviates from expectation to the point that its beauty lies in its imperfection, and every scratch, strike through, metal texture shift, planchet miscut, polishing oversight, and die rotation miscalculation tells a narrative of industrial fallibility that collectors view as poetic scarcity, transforming common currency into a cultural artifact that symbolizes unpredictability within mass manufacturing. And if an authenticated multimillion $1,997p error quarter entered auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, promotion efforts would spark global attention across news media, financial analysis platforms, and enthusiast networks, generating spectacle that inflates buyer participation and pushes bids into extreme territory. Since competition among top-tier collectors often transforms auctions into high-stakes psychological wagers where pride and prestige matter as much as material ownership, and since certified third-party grading agencies like PCGS or NGC would verify error legitimacy, assign a grade based on preservation, and encapsulate the coin in tamper-proof holders, official recognition would stabilize such a valuation and protect future resale potential, because certification mitigates fraud risk in a market vulnerable to counterfeits or post-mint alterations that attempt to mimic genuine errors, and credible documentation ensures that the coin story remains intact for future generations, offering historical continuity through a transparent chain of custody. And therefore the idea of a 1997p quarter valued at $38 million resonates strongly with those who appreciate the intersection of rarity, human error, material culture, and the everlasting challenge of assigning value to unexpected objects that capture imagination and showcase the mysteries hidden in everyday life, proving that even the smallest detail like a misaligned die or missing layer can become the key to immense wealth. So collectors remain vigilant, searching through rolls of quarters, checking minute details under proper lighting and magnification, and consulting numismatic experts whenever something looks even slightly irregular, because possibilities exist where one might retrieve a fortune from a handful of spare change. Next, 1980p $quarter coin. into the captivating universe of numismatics, where even an ordinary-looking pocket change coin such as the 1980p Washington quarter dollar can spark astonishing curiosity and lead to speculations about mind-blowing values, including the idea that one ultra-rare example could hypothetically command a price tag of $21 million due to extraordinary minting mistakes, extremely unusual characteristics, and a level of rarity that defies standard market expectations. And although regular 1980p quarters are plentiful, since the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of them for commerce, the possibility that a single specimen contains a perfect combination of major minting errors fuels imagination, energizes collectors, and inspires everyday individuals to inspect their change more closely than ever before. Because the thrill of discovering a multi-million-dollar treasure hidden in plain sight creates an irresistible motivation to learn, examine, and explore the rich world of minting anomalies. And in order to appreciate how a coin could reach such an extraordinary value, it is important to understand how minting processes work, since coins are struck through high-precision mechanical systems involving dies, planchets, pressure cycles, and multi-step inspections intended to ensure uniformity. But whenever those strict procedures fail, even slightly, the result may transform a piece of common currency into something incredibly desirable due to an unexpected flaw that becomes an emblem of rarity and historical intrigue. And the 1980p quarter has become a magnet for interest because several types of documented and theorized errors known from that year represent opportunities for collectors to find remarkable anomalies, such as double die errors where George Washington's portrait or inscriptions display noticeable doubling caused by misalignment during the die hubbing process, producing shadow-like overlays around facial details. The word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust," which collectors prize when the effect is bold and eye-catching. And there are also dramatic strike-through errors where foreign objects like grease, metal shavings, or cloth obstruct the die during impact, removing intricate details from the design and creating mysterious blank zones that reveal the unpredictable nature of industrial mint environments. And in some extremely rare situations, missing clad layer errors occur in which the outer nickel coating of the clad sandwich fails to bond properly with the copper core, leaving one side or both sides with a noticeably different surface appearance, often a brownish copper tone, that immediately distinguishes such coins from standard production pieces while significantly increasing their desirability. And then there are off-center strikes where the planchet is not correctly positioned between the hammer and anvil dies, resulting in a visibly shifted design, with part of the motif cut off and a crescent-shaped blank area exposed, which transforms the typical symmetrical quarter design into an extraordinary example of mechanical misalignment. And collectors especially value coins where these off-center strikes remain high-grade and large enough in displacement to produce dramatic visual impact. And additional anomalies include broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails, allowing the metal to expand outward beyond the normal diameter, causing a distortion in rim structure that produces a flattened edge surface absent of reading, creating an unmistakable departure from typical specifications. And there are also die crack errors in which aging, stress, or repeated striking causes fractures in the die, leaving thick raised lines across the surfaces of the coin that serve as physical evidence of equipment fatigue. And when those cracks appear prominently across notable features such as Washington's profile or the eagle on the reverse, they become highly sought after characteristics, especially in uncirculated condition. And on exceedingly rare occasions, a wrong planchet error might occur where a quarter design is accidentally struck onto a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime, which results in weight differences, diameter inconsistencies, and a strikingly different appearance that turns a familiar coin into a bizarre and thrilling oddity. And experts in numismatics agree that when multiple major errors appear together on one single specimen, the rarity increases exponentially because the probability of such an event occurring is incredibly low, making such a coin literally one of a kind and capable of commanding unprecedented value should a serious bidding battle erupt among wealthy collectors who recognize the magnitude of securing a numismatic masterpiece with unmatched production anomalies. And enthusiasts assert that the Philadelphia Mint experienced a transitional period in the late 1970s and early 1980s with evolving technology and increased production demand that may have allowed certain undocumented and unexpected errors to slip through quality control. And if a 1980p quarter surfaced featuring a combination of a double die obverse, missing clad layer, severe die break, and a memorable off-center strike while also remaining in a high mid-state grade, it would not just be a rare coin. It would be a once-in-human-history artifact that merges accidental artistry with metallurgical evolution and the fragile precision of United States mint machinery, and this potential leads collectors to carefully inspect 1980 quarters under magnification, checking the fine lettering, the sharpness of the eagle's wings, the structure of the rim, and the luster of the metal, noting any deviation from standard specifications, because every micro detail could represent the clue that transforms a simple coin into a financial revelation, and high-level collectors who participate in auctions hosted by renowned firms like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers often seek pieces that tell a story, and the narrative behind a catastrophic minting mistake that survives circulation unnoticed for years only enhances the coin's cultural and historical fascination, elevating it from a common circulating medium into a symbolic representation of chance, rarity, and the beauty found in flawed precision. And that is why grading companies such as PCGS and NGC play a critical role in establishing legitimacy and maximizing value, because they provide certification that gives buyers confidence the errors are genuine and not the result of post-mint tampering, ensuring the coin's authenticity remains unquestioned and its auction potential remains secure. And once authenticated with a high-grade designation such as MS65 or higher, any spectacular error coin instantly gains entry into a premium tier of collecting interest, where prices respond not only to rarity, but also to investor psychology and competition, and the fascination surrounding a hypothetical $21,001,980 per quarter stems from the recognition that there is still so much yet undiscovered in the vast population of coins minted for circulation, and this awareness keeps enthusiasts searching relentlessly in hopes of discovering that mythic piece which becomes the center of global numismatic attention. And the story behind such a coin would inspire the public to appreciate everyday objects more deeply, because hidden value can reside where most people never look, which embodies the very essence of why coin collecting remains such a compelling pursuit. And so the legend of a potentially ultra-rare 1980p quarter worth a fortune encourages people to stay vigilant, to enjoy the hunt, and to respect the tremendous craftsmanship and intriguing imperfections that give these small metallic discs the potential to change someone's financial reality forever through one astonishing moment of discovery driven by curiosity, patience. Next, 1983 quarter dollar coin. Exploration into the mysterious and highly captivating world of rare United States coinage, where even a simple and commonly circulated piece like the 1983 Washington quarter dollar can enter the realm of astonishing speculation and imaginative valuation, inspiring collectors to dream of multi-million-dollar discoveries lurking within their pocket change and igniting curiosity about how minting errors, mechanical failures, and production anomalies can transform a 25-cent coin into something perceived as a treasure with unbelievable potential. Because although no official auction records support a definitive sale anywhere near $36 million, passionate numismatists love to analyze the fascinating possibilities that might one day justify such a staggering estimate if the perfect coin with the perfect storm of extraordinary mistakes were ever authenticated and presented to well-funded enthusiasts who view rarity and error complexity as the ultimate representation of numismatic prestige. And in order to understand why such speculation persists, it is essential to consider the minting environment of 1983, when the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters during a period of high circulation demand and cost-saving measures that resulted in slight quality inconsistencies, making the year especially notable for error hunters, because the Mint did not release official mint sets in 1982 and 1983, which left fewer pristine uncirculated examples preserved for collectors, increasing the desirability of rare survivors and elevating the potential value of premium quality strikes. And among these coins, the 1983 D quarter has been associated with unique and intriguing anomalies such as a missing clad layer error in which the nickel-copper sandwich composition fails to bond correctly, leaving the surface with a duller pure copper look that makes the coin appear dramatically different from standard examples, while also reducing its weight and creating a tactile irregularity that collectors can detect with careful inspection. And there are rumors of double die errors on the obverse, where George Washington's profile shows subtle doubling around the nose, the chin, or the word liberty, resulting from misalignment between the die impressions during hubbing that created distorted overlapping features and an almost shadow-like effect. And then there are off-center strikes where the planchet does not sit properly between the dies at the moment of pressure, causing part of the design to shift toward the rim or even become truncated entirely, with blank space visible in the struck area, which makes the coin visually striking because the intended symmetry of the quarter disappears, replacing predictable uniformity with random artistic imperfection. And another possibility that excites collectors is the wrong planchet error, which occurs when a quarter design is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin metal stock, producing incorrect dimensions, different metallic tonalities, and weight deviations that professional graders can confirm using precise instruments. And if a 1983 D specimen combined multiple rare features in flawless condition, its value could escalate dramatically, because collectors place the highest premiums on pieces where errors are not only rare, but also visually dramatic and easily identifiable even by those with limited expertise, which increases desirability among a wider audience of potential buyers. And although many error types exist individually, actual coins with two or more extreme minting defects are almost never encountered, especially from the same year and mint facility, which leads to speculative scenarios where a hypothetical ultimate error specimen from 1983 D becomes legendary in numismatic conversations and online communities that enjoy debating the theoretical upper limits of the collectible coin market. And for those who cherish the thrill of treasure hunting, the narrative becomes even more electrifying due to known issues affecting the 1983 quarter year more generally, including prominent die cracks caused by overused dies that produce raised irregular lines running across Washington's portrait or the eagle on the reverse, creating a dramatic representation of mechanical fatigue within mint processes, and strike-through errors where foreign debris such as grease, cloth fibers, or metal fragments obstruct part of the die during the strike, leaving mysterious indentations or missing design elements that create a stunning interruption in artistic continuity, which appeals greatly to error specialists. And the Denver Mint mark adds another dimension, because some collectors are convinced that unique internal circumstances at that facility during the early 1980s may have produced anomalies that have not yet been wholly documented or uncovered, increasing the anticipation that a dream discovery could still be waiting in coin rolls or old jars forgotten in drawers, motivating individuals to closely examine every detail of their 1983 D quarters under magnification and strong light, looking for doubling in the motto "In God We Trust" or abnormalities in the eagle's feather patterns, and assessing the rim for broad strike effects, where the collar did not properly restrain the metal flow, resulting in a wider diameter and missing border reading, characteristics that instantly differentiate such pieces from standard circulation coins. And the excitement continues to build because major grading firms like PCGS and NGC have certified a number of high-grade 1983D quarters with noteworthy attributes, and some of these have already achieved impressive auction results in the tens of thousands of dollars despite exhibiting only one notable error type, which naturally encourages speculation about what a truly astounding specimen with a flawless preservation state could command at a high-profile auction house if competing high-net-worth collectors desired ownership of a one-of-a-kind treasure, because at that level of competition financial logic often becomes secondary to the symbolic power of securing an ultimate rarity that represents a convergence of history, chance, and manufacturing unpredictability. And the coin collecting community consistently demonstrates that when extraordinary rarity and compelling backstory are present, the marketplace can respond with breathtaking aggressiveness as bidders attempt to cement their name in numismatic lore. And while no authenticated example has yet triggered a $36 million bidding war, imaginations continue to be captivated by the possibility that a singular 1983D quarter might exist with unmatched error complexity, including a double die obverse, wrong planchet strike, severe off-center alignment, missing clad layer, and major die breaks while simultaneously retaining high mint state luster, with no circulation wear, because such a coin would not only represent minting impossibility, but also an artful display of mechanical imperfection that transforms a routine piece of everyday commerce into a legendary artifact with an economic value almost entirely defined by desire, rarity, and narrative weight, which is why collectors feel such joy in searching, since within every handful of coins lies the theoretical potential for a financially transformative discovery that could change someone's life, especially given the enduring cultural fascination with stories of hidden riches emerging from the ordinary, reinforcing the idea that chance serves as a silent partner to human curiosity. And the passion continues because numismatics offers a unique blend of history, art, industry, and adventure, making every unexpected detail an invitation to learn more about how coins are created and how small production deviations can evolve into treasures that collectors regard with reverence. And therefore discussions surrounding an extraordinarily valuable 1983D quarter serve as a reminder of the excitement embedded in this hobby, encouraging everyone to look closely at the coins they encounter daily and to appreciate the craftsmanship, complexities, and rare imperfections that might one day lead to headlines about an unbelievable sale price that moves beyond rumor and speculation into documented history, proving once again that the world of rare coins is full of wonder, imagination, and discovery for those willing to search with attention, patience, and enthusiasm. Next, 1989p $quarter coin. Presentation focused on one of the most fascinating possibilities in modern numismatics, where an everyday circulating coin such as the 1989p Washington $quarter could theoretically command a value as high as $20 million due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and condition factors that would make it a breathtaking rarity prize beyond comparison. Because the Philadelphia Mint in 1989 produced hundreds of millions of these coins for daily transactions and commerce across the United States, yet within such massive output there always exists the chance that a handful of mistakes escaped quality control and entered circulation, and those errors represent the most thrilling segment of coin collecting, where something that appears completely ordinary to the untrained eye could in fact be worth life-changing money. And the mere possibility that a small metallic object worth 25 cents on its face could sell for a valuation near $20 million fuels a global wave of curiosity, passion, and meticulous searching, drawing everyone from experts to beginners into the hunt for hidden treasure and pocket change. Because value in this realm is driven not by denomination but by scarcity, desirability, anomaly relevance, and dramatic visual impact, which make unique coins not only financial assets, but also pieces of historical intrigue that embody the unpredictable nature of industrial minting systems. And in order to explore why a 1989 p quarter could become worth such a staggering sum, it is necessary to consider the rich variety of error types that collectors aggressively pursue, including double die strikes where inscriptions, like Liberty and I in God We Trust, show duplicated outlines, or thickened letters due to misalignment of die hubbing impressions, resulting in distinct shadowed effects that are visible without special instruments, and highly cherished due to their artistic visual power. And further, noteworthy errors also include off-center strikes where the coin blank, known as a planchet, is improperly positioned during the striking process, causing the design to shift significantly to one side, leaving a portion of the coin blank and dramatically altering its geometry, which collectors love, and examples where the date and mint mark remain fully visible because that retains authentication while showcasing the flaw in bold clarity. And another major factor that could massively influence value is a wrong planchet strike, a scenario in which a quarter is mistakenly struck onto a planchet intended for a dime, nickel, or even a foreign denomination planchet used for international coinage contracts the mint fulfilled during certain years, producing a lighter weight or smaller diameter than intended for a quarter, and instantly revealing the mistake through metallurgical testing and precise measurement, which dramatically increases rarity and desirability. And in some unusual cases, a missing clad layer error may occur when the outer nickel alloy does not properly bond to the copper core, resulting in a copper-toned surface on one or both faces of the coin, which stands out sharply from the expected silver-colored finish of standard quarters. And missing clad errors from the 1980s carry strong collector interest because they represent structural flaws in the material composition itself rather than just die or striking anomalies, creating an even greater novelty factor. And additional varieties that spark intense excitement include broad strike errors caused by the failure of the collar die that normally restrains metal flow during striking, which leads to expansion of the rim past its intended measurements, creating a wider than normal diameter, with smooth edges lacking the expected reeded texture. And dramatic die crack errors where the die becomes damaged or fatigued during high volume production, resulting in raised jagged lines cutting across the coin surface, sometimes forming shapes that attract specific nicknames or classification recognition among dedicated error specialists. And coins that display multiple significant errors simultaneously represent impossibly rare events where several different aspects of the minting process break down at once. And such coins are sometimes described as miracles of misfortune in the industrial environment, because machinery and quality systems are designed to prevent exactly these outcomes, which is why when they do occur they hold tremendous intrigue, commanding enormous premiums at auction, especially when the coin remains in high mint state preservation with crisp luster, clear details, and minimal circulation wear, because condition amplifies value exponentially in rare error examples, shifting the coin from simply interesting to museum-worthy. And since Philadelphia did not apply a mint mark P to many denominations until years prior, the presence of the P mint mark on a 1989 quarter becomes a key part of identifying error lineage with certainty, especially given the high production numbers that year, which makes a standout anomaly even more dramatic from a statistical perspective. And while no currently documented 1989 p quarter has officially sold for anywhere near $20 million, the theoretical scenario remains exciting and educational for collectors because it highlights how unknown rarities might still remain undiscovered in drawers, jars, coin rolls from banks, inherited collections, or mixed change piles, reinforcing the captivating truth that major finds continue to surface decades after initial mintage, reshaping numismatic understanding with every new breakthrough. And the market for error coins has grown significantly due to increased awareness through online marketplaces, enthusiast communities, coin shows, and major auction houses including Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, which routinely feature error coins that exceed price predictions when passionate bidders compete for iconic examples, demonstrating that extraordinary excitement and financial power converge when a unique coin enters the spotlight, and leading grading companies such as PCGS and NGC serve a critical role by authenticating, certifying, and encapsulating coins of major significance, which protects them from environmental hazards and tampering while establishing their pedigree and maintaining stability in future valuations, because buyers with the means to pursue multimillion-dollar rarities insist on documented authentication before engaging in high-stakes acquisitions. And in the theoretical case where a 1989 P quarter with multiple dramatic errors were found in pristine condition and confirmed authentic by experts, the result could be a landmark moment in coin collecting history, with headlines capturing attention worldwide and inspiring countless more individuals to begin searching through their own money, driven by the thrill of discovery and the understanding that unimaginable value can reside in the smallest objects that pass through our hands daily without a second thought. And this fascination with the hidden potential of circulating coinage illustrates something deeply human, which is the love of mystery, heritage, and the notion that great fortune sometimes hides not in luxury holdings, but within overlooked corners of everyday life. And so the excitement surrounding a hypothetical $20,001,989 P quarter continues to inspire careful attention to detail, motivating collectors to inspect the date alignment, examine Washington's portrait for doubling, check the texture of the edges, weigh the coin for planchet anomalies, and search for any deviations that tell a story of mechanical imperfection, because within these rare deviations lies the heart of numismatic adventure, where history, metallurgy, industrial engineering, art, and chance all converge in the size of a coin that fits neatly in the palm of a hand, yet could change someone. Last 1992 D $quarter coin. An informative exploration into one of the most intriguing possibilities in modern coin collecting, where a seemingly ordinary 1992 D Washington $quarter could hypothetically command an astonishing $29 million price solely because of extraordinary minting errors, structural anomalies, and rare manufacturing events that transform what would normally be a widely circulating 25-cent piece into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure for numismatists and investors. And although the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1992 D quarters intended for everyday commerce, which creates the perception of commonality, it is precisely within such large-scale production that the potential for extraordinary imperfections arises, because when precision machinery, metal planchets, and high-speed striking processes deviate even slightly from their intended alignment, the resulting errors become coveted artifacts representing a unique intersection of industrial complexity and numismatic rarity, and the belief that one spectacular 1992 D quarter with a perfect storm of manufacturing mistakes could reach a value near $19 million continues to generate widespread excitement among collectors who search their pocket change with renewed curiosity, knowing that hidden fortune could lie within the most mundane objects. And understanding why such a breathtaking value is possible requires examining the specific error types known to influence premium market behavior, starting with the double die obverse error, which occurs when the hoving process used to create the working die induces slight misalignments resulting in duplicate outlines on elements like the inscriptions Liberty or In God We Trust or Washington's profile details, and such doubling, when clear and dramatic to the naked eye, generates significant collector demand because the design appears almost three-dimensional, creating visual intrigue unlike standard strikes. And another category of dramatic error is the off-center strike, where the planchet does not sit correctly in the collar at the moment the dies apply pressure, producing a shifted design that leaves an empty crescent of blank metal visible on the surface, which looks instantly unusual. And if that misalignment remains severe while preserving the visibility of both the date and the mint mark D, the coin's value climbs rapidly because it remains identifiable despite defying intended geometry. And there are also missing clad layer errors, which occur when the copper-nickel outer coating fails to bond to the copper core during planchet production, leaving one or both surfaces with a lighter or darker copper-toned appearance that sharply contrasts with normal quarters. And this kind of structural flaw appeals to specialists because it alters the fundamental metallurgical integrity of the piece. And in particularly rare combinations, this error produces a weight difference that professional graders can document for authentication. And yet another notable anomaly involves broad strike errors, where the retaining collar malfunctioned or failed entirely, causing the metal to expand outwards during striking, which removes the normal reeded edge pattern and creates an oversized flat rim appearance that collectors instantly recognize as abnormal. And in addition to these well-known errors, there exist die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the striking dies fatigue or fracture over long cycles of use, leaving raised jagged lines or blobs of extra metal known as cuds that distort the visual continuity of the design. And when these cracks appear in dramatic locations such as across Washington's head or the eagle on the reverse, they become highly attractive because they capture a moment of functional failure at the mint that would ordinarily be corrected long before such severe die deterioration should occur. And rarer still are wrong planchet errors, where a quarter design is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, such as a dime or possibly a leftover foreign coin stock from international contracts, thereby producing pieces that weigh incorrectly and sometimes show rim inconsistencies or compressed motifs due to dimensional mismatch. And collectors regard these pieces as anomalies of the highest level because planchet mix-ups represent significant procedural breakdowns in mint workflow, and speculation grows even deeper when one imagines the possibility of more than one of these error types combining within the same 1992D coin, since independent mistakes are already rare, but cumulative mistakes become almost incalculably improbable, thereby creating the type of singular entity capable of capturing enormous financial interest among the highest tier of numismatic investors, who may engage in fierce bidding wars through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where prestige and exclusivity drive prices far beyond what traditional pricing guides would predict. And the numismatic marketplace has repeatedly demonstrated that when authenticity, extraordinary rarity, and immaculate condition converge, the resulting valuation breaks expectations because those who collect at the elite level appreciate the historical narrative behind exceptional minting errors, viewing these coins not merely as currency but as industrial artifacts that represent both the precision and fragility of human design production systems. And if a 1992D quarter with dramatic multiple errors such as a double die obverse, wrong planchet strike, severe off-center impression, and missing clad layer were discovered in uncirculated or near flawless condition with original luster intact and fully certified by trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC, the coin would not simply become valuable. It would become a featured headline in numismatic news outlets worldwide, instantly recognized as one of the most significant minting accidents of the 20th century, a masterpiece of unintended craftsmanship that pushes collectors to reconsider the limits of what defines rarity and value in the coin world. And part of what makes the pursuit exciting is the knowledge that such a coin could still exist undetected in everyday circulation, tucked in a forgotten desk drawer, sealed inside an old coin roll purchased from a bank decades ago, or passed through generations in an inherited collection without anyone realizing its monumental worth. And this opens thrilling possibilities for enthusiasts who examine the edges for reading irregularities, weigh their coins with precision scales, inspect inscriptions under magnification for doubling, check the artwork alignment relative to the rim, and compare coloration for subtle clad layer anomalies, because these details might one day reveal a multi-million-dollar opportunity hidden in plain sight. And imagine the exact scenario in which a collector brings a strangely struck 1992 D quarter to a coin show, believing it might be unusual, only to learn from expert evaluation that it represents a discovery capable of setting new records in private sales or public auctions, creating an unforgettable moment that demonstrates the immense joy and reward that numismatics can deliver to those who persist in searching for the extraordinary among the ordinary. And this possibility continues to engage both seasoned professionals and newcomers who admire the idea that something so small and familiar could become a powerful symbol of hidden potential, because the essence of coin collecting is not only about medals and mint marks, but also about the profound notion that history and value often reside in unexpected places, waiting patiently for someone with curiosity and attention to reveal them. And so the legend of a possible $19,001,992 D-era quarter lives on as a source of motivation, education, and wonder, reminding everyone to look closely at the coins they handle each day, since it only takes one extraordinary example for a life to change forever, and for a once ordinary quarter to become a priceless masterpiece cherished for generations as a testament to the unpredictable beauty of minting imperfections that transform simple currency into a monumental collectible worthy of awe and admiration.